name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about a Netflix movie. I think that you guys have been really enjoying when I talk about Netflix films because you know where to find them and they're pretty accessible to most people, and if not, I'm sure you know another way to find them. This movie is called Lavender, and it was recently released on Netflix here in Australia, and I was sick of looking at the cover and I thought, man, I don't have high expectations, but I've got to check it out. I actually saw the trailer for Lavender a little while before it came out. It looked very unoriginal, but it did star Abby Cornish, who I'm a big fan of just because she's an Australian, and also because she was in the movie Candy with Heath Ledger, which I'm a fan of. I think she's great, and I think she was in Sucker Punch too. I could be completely wrong about that, but she's really cool, and I was kind of sad to see her in this, but then I didn't really know if I was sad or not, so I needed to fucking watch it. The film itself is about a character called Jane who suffers an accident and then starts having all these old memories flood back, and she's trying to figure out what's real and what's fake, and it all leads her to this house where she has to decide whether to follow the darkness and find out the truth. But what is the truth? You see what I'm going here? The whole like past and present thing, yeah, it's been done before. It's a very common thriller, horror sequence, and this movie does not have any new ideas. But then, an angel bestowed himself upon me. Of course, I'm talking about Justin Long. He's in this film. I'm a big fan ever since like Tusk, Drag Me to Hell. I love him, I love him, I love him, and I love how he's always in these kind of B-ish horror movies, but he finds some good ones. So when I saw his face, I was like, something must be right here. I want to say that the film was shot beautifully, and that was definitely a standout for me. It was directed and shot beautifully, and I know I always say, you know, if I think a film is shot really well and really nice production value, but this film was really artistic. The compositions were really nice. The coloring was this very like greeny, yellowy tone, and it was all like an ode to memories, like that kind of flashback look, and I thought that was really fitting and clever. And the blocking of some scenes, the way the characters moved worked really well, and I really enjoyed that. And in saying that, of course, the acting was 10 out of 10. I think that was really good. Besides one questionable role, which was the little girl. The little girl was not bad. She was just fed some really like evil kid lines, and it was just like, come on. Seriously, like, and it was kind of shoved down your throat really early on, which I wasn't really sure about. She's talking to things that aren't there. She's talking about evil fairies. She's saying, Mummy wants to hurt me. And it's just a lot. I'm not saying her acting was bad. I'm just saying some of the dialogue was just a little bit off. And since we're talking about things a little bit off, the storyline was very far-fetched. I'm not gonna say that there isn't some twists and turns in there, because there is, but the storyline is just, it's a little bit hard to swallow. There's a few plot holes that don't really make sense, and it's one of those kind of movies that, you know, you have to kind of guess what's going on, and then it will reveal, and then it flashes back and you figure out things. And if it's something that's meant to be so simple, I just feel like it's a little bit weird when they have to explain themselves. I will say the film is quite slow. The first half, maybe in the first 3/4, and then the last quarter is just like insane. The final act is where it all comes together, which is really great. It's good for a payoff. But in saying that as well, there is one scene where I felt it was completely terrifying, one really good sequence in there that I was like, you know how exciting it is when you see a horror movie that actually has like a really scary sequence and you're like, oh my God, I can see that coming. You know, like the, and I was really pleased by that, but as it kept unraveling, I was like, dang, we are going this way. Completely unoriginal story, and I was just not buying any of it. Which leads me to the ending. And this is something I really want to discuss with you guys because I want to hear what you guys think down in the comments. I really, really, really like the ending of this film. I loved it. Brought a little tear to my eye, I'm not gonna lie. Everything else I found was really, really hard to swallow. So why am I feeling this way about the ending? And this made me realize my theory, which can pretty much fuck up all of my reviews so far, because I realized that an end of a film, if it gets me, sometimes I forget how bad it was. And this happens to me all the time where I read my notes early, because I write down all my notes when I'm watching a film just so I can remember to tell you guys. And sometimes I'll say like, this bit is horrible, like blah, 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 this is slow, this is that. And I make sure I say it all, but when an ending is good, sometimes stuff can be forgiven. And I feel like that might be a trick. They're tricking us because they're giving us a great opening and a great closing. And when you walk out of a cinema or you turn the TV off or the credits roll and you have that warm, fuzzy feeling or that shocked feeling, that disturbed feeling, that scared feeling, that's when you feel like, man, that movie was this, but maybe it wasn't all that. It's really hard to put into a rating how you feel about a film the whole time because the film is up and down, and I find it really hard to gauge that. I don't know, do you guys feel the same way? Let me know down below. But I really like the ending for this film, and I'm not gonna let that excuse the rest of it, but I did think it was quite good. Overall, this film is nothing new at all. It is a story that's been told time and time again, and I have to say it is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I'm gonna add this to my list of guilty pleasure films. It's a film that wasn't great, but I like the way it wrapped up, and it's easy to watch. A little bit of disturbing content, but it's background noise. It's one of those cheesy horror movies that definitely aren't your favorites, but you're kind of glad you watched them. I would recommend you guys to watch this movie and let me know down below what you think, and if you've seen the film, how you feel about the ending. Let me know, I'd love to hear scores and your comments about it. I'm gonna give this one a personal score of 6 out of 10. I think that's a very fair score. I'm gonna give it a 5 for scare, and I'm gonna give it a 1 for originality, because that's what I believe it deserves. Let me know if you guys agree down below, each their own of course, but I'd love to hear your opinions. And let me know what you guys think about the end of films and if it will persuade you to change your mind on a whole film. Anyway, that's enough homework. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky. Bye.